obviously, I mean, Josie and Regina, they've been there. They've been holding it down. They've been incredibly solid in how they support the rest of the team and just being really consistent. But it's the step up from those 3 players in particular that I think might just be the difference maker.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Already right on the way. The T side, Furia going aggressive, trying to find something and make that a double, a triple opener over towards the B side. So Pistol's a pretty good way to kickstart momentum. And Furia, I think this hasn't even stopped from Dust 2. That engine is still ticking and oh so well. Now it's down to 2. Empty female, Josie and Red Jen trying like anything. Mori picks her out of the sky. Like duck hunting to find the first and closes out with a beauty of a second. 4 remain alive. Furia find a first round. And the momentum from map number 1 has comfortably transferred to map number 2 because Furia, they have kickstarted this one brilliantly.
I mean, this is incredibly rough for Liberty because obviously whatever cash they're going to have into this round is not going to be great. Yeah, I mean, and they're actually buying quite a bit here to give themselves a little bit of extra firepower into this. You know, the 2 scouts, we spoke about Furzy with the AWP, but to have the double scout, I mean, you can see they are really taking a more aggressive stance about trying to shut down rotations as quickly as possible. Now, Furia have changed up their direction, and this A site is relatively unguarded, but a little bit of chip damage here. Oh, can't quite get the cleanup. There we go.
There we go. I'm going to find the first. Let's make it a second. Information spotted. Does not need to be careful. Could be caught in transition. There it is. The Mach 10 running and gunning oh so good at it. Mari's in for the flank, though. And she herself could be able to clean up at least 1. Looking for 2. Will she even clear behind herself, though? The MP9. Bit of a laser spray, but comes out on top. Now, Regen has to be careful. She's on towards the site, trying to deny this presence. In they come running and gunning. Running out of ammo. Knife comes out. The slash comes in. The numbers now favor the T side. An AK now to Mizzy, but it's a 1 versus 2. Bomb planted, post plant to be set up, and this now becomes extremely tough to clear. It's planted for Bank as well as Mizzy making her way forward. It's a tough one to clear. It's a crossfire set up, and just even expect Gabby in close and personal. Fury at 2-0 starts. I mean, for Liberty, with the 4 spy, they at least made it a little bit expensive, but it doesn't take away from a second round on the board, and then 4 start continued.
Yeah, I mean, this is rough for Liberty. They had some good ideas in that one. I think the rotation took a little bit too long to come through after, I mean, you spot out half of Furia pushing through A long. You got to kind of expect that's more or less where it's going to be. And unfortunately, backup takes that little bit too long to come through. The counter lurk was pretty decent, but unfortunately, Furia just kind of steamroll run over that site. Now they have a huge advantage into this round. I mean, Liberty, it really is just about making this as expensive as they can. They've taken such a deep, aggressive push out into mid here because, well, they're not really expecting to come out on top of this. It's high noon and, yeah, oh, there's no deagles. Okay, it's not high noon.
Yeah, not even. I mean, it is quite literally P250, USPS is P2K, but it's P2K step up. Josie going to find Olga. Numbers brawl level. Firepower still in favor of the T side, and, well, unfortunately, Josie gets up a kill, and all she gets is a Mach 10. Not exactly the best of weapons, especially of what's available in the hands of Furia. They're going to flood their way over towards the B site. It's a barren B site at that. The utility comes through, will be cleared momentarily, and of course, as the plant comes in, for Liberty, this is not the easiest position for them to be in. They're so far away, bombs go down, and this retake more or less impossible, and kind of what makes it all the more comfortable. There's not even a kit to work with, so they can't even play for time. Rotating in towards Monster. Gabby does need to be careful herself. Does take some significant damage from range as well. So does Carl, but now they're locking things out. The firepower making a difference, and they're just picking them off one by one like dominoes. They walk through the chokehold of Monster, and they walk straight in towards Gabby. 3K for her goes down with 1 point of HP. That's all she needs. 3-0 starts.
3 kills with 1 HP? That is nasty. That is unfair to just be that good at the game. Well, there you go. That's going to be a nice little round clutched out there. I say clutch. I mean, Liberty, we knew they had very little. I expected more of an engagement in mid, but they all just kind of spread out a little bit. Liberty tried to go for a more sneaky approach, but yeah, immediately caught off guard there. Now look at Furia. Look at this aggressive rush in. They know they don't have a huge advantage, but they're running on in. They want to take them off guard, and it works.
Sometimes all you have to do is hold W and it's enough. Find the first, make that the second as well. The question is, will they clear the player in the smoke? And Juliana, she's played it perfectly. Gonna find the first, second, denies the bomb, gonna go down. Not able to transfer onto the third though. Mizzy comes alive for one of her own. Isa will trade, but but it's 2 versus 2. Bomb dropped in a less than opportune space. You know what? Mizzy's in towards short. Isa trying to catch that AWPer off from heaven, but she's not going to overextend. So as we speak, it's a bit of a stalemate. Not anymore. Forcing her out. Molotov in towards short water. Reluctantly gives up that control, but an AWP from above. Finding one, and now it's Isa all alone. She can't even be secure in terms of she knows she's being pinted in towards this site. On to be collected, 50 seconds to work with, and actually a smart decision to rotate over towards A. The question is, will she catch off the AWP? I don't think she even expects it so close to personal, and from behind, Furzy will close that one out. A necessary round for Liberty Female, but a good one all the same.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of questioned the hyper-aggressive stance that we'd seen from Furia there, but a nicely placed couple of smokes allows one of these Liberty players to stay alive and get a nice little bit of cleanup there. Here it is. Juliana does so much here. Getting that bomb dropped does huge things for Liberty and able to just maintain control of the site. So they finally get their first round on the board, but there's a huge uphill battle here to maintain, and Furia just continue with this aggression.
Furia know that by holding W, they put the Cetus out on the back foot and consistently cause issues. Joe's going to fall as well. Once again, the numbers in favor of the T side, and now, of course, of HP as well. This could become dicey. Missed shot. Second time of asking as well, and it will be an uncharacteristic miss for the AWPer of Furzy. As the bomb goes down, I think this time, they might even just be tempted for a save call. I mean, it's a very uncomfortable position to work with, and they know the utility that the T side have got. It's exactly that. Save call to be made, fall away. With that AWP, it's such an expensive investment. Don't risk it.
I mean, just because the aggressive stance didn't work the first time doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad play. As we said, you know, it was a few well-placed smokes, well-placed utility that gave Liberty a huge advantage. This time around, Furia, a little bit more careful on their approach. Yes, it is an aggressive one, but it's that little bit more finely tuned. Get themselves in onto the site, and while Liberty could have contested that, realistically speaking, the smartest thing to do was, as we see, to save. So now that they have they'll have a little bit of extra cash going into the next round, plus the two guns that they kept in their hands. But for Furia, I mean, Liberty have been doing well to consistently keep it as expensive as possible. When you're coming into this one, look at Isa. I mean, she's not really going to be able to buy their bait. Maybe like some... Nah. There you go. She was just tapped onto the wrong weapon. I hate it when they do that, man. They like debate me a little bit. But yeah, into the next round, if they don't win this one, that's when things start to look a little dicey.
Yeah, exactly that. That's where things do become a little bit uncomfortable. You can start for Liberty Female as well with a dicey buy for them with the saved weapons, but not a bad start. Going to find the opening kill. Of course, dropping out Cara is an important one. She was popping off in towards Dust too. A real difference maker. So good at finding the opening kill and consistently winning that battle of the AWPs against Furzy. I mean, that now gives them a bit of a breath of fresh air. Liberty Female not quite feeling the pressure despite the uncomfortable force by as it stands. Potentially, this could be an upset.
Carrying that AWP over has clearly been a difference maker. Gets them that first very, very important pick-off. And with that flash coming through, that's going to at least give them the suspicion that something's happening. Oh my god, the shot down range. This could be a round that Liberty somehow come out on top of. Now, Furia still definitely have the advantage, but look at Liberty's positioning. I mean, they are poised to rotate in, and with that little bit of information given over, they should be able to make this rotation quite quickly.
This should be the question is, can they? Numbers in favor of the CT side, despite, as we mentioned, that uncomfortable vibe. And now they've got the double up setup to work with. Furzy holding a range, relaying that information of that short player coming through. But the site is given up. Now, with a smoke in her face, she has to give away her position. Adil comes to life for one more, though. This is unproblematic. It very much is. The second AWP drops with Gabby forced to go aggressive towards straight towards Mari. A double spray down, but unfortunately, that's all they're going to find. Liberty Female are going to come out on top. And that's a second round for the CT side with just saved weapons.
How is it the same two players still left alive? Percy and Mizzy. Oh, man. I mean, these were two of the three players that I had highlighted coming into this that I was really hoping to perform incredibly well to help Liberty push, you know, over the barrier. And Juliana was the other one, and she's also doing incredibly well here. So That makes me feel quite smart. But it also really helps for Liberty. I mean, we mentioned this being their CT side, they have to create a buffer for themselves. And the first few rounds were rough, and of course that was kind of off the back of losing that first pistol, so they lose a lot of that early momentum. But they've been able to start bringing that back. Furia's economy is now busted. They have 2 AKs coming into this, but very, very limited utility. So realistically speaking, this should be around Liberty. Should be able. Oh my god! Okay.
Nice start.
Wow.
Then he's stacking towards Boost, the perfect way to kickstart things. Josie, Labour Spray, gonna be able to find one just about, but traded out with a Mac 10 at range. Now, somehow, some way, it seems like the limited buys seem to be what brings around in their favour. Now, an AK-47 in the hands of Mizzy, and AWP for Thursday, gonna go for that boost play. They've got a slight inkling, but they need to be clinical here. They're going to make their way forward, try and find something, but they're being held at range. Dink will come in, only a slight bit of damage. That's the information they need. They're double stacking towards short, and now surely the save call being spammed through, very nearly falling towards that spam through the woods, but they just about make it. Orb will find 1 as the consolation kill, but it's only that. Furia going to find 5, but Liberty get a consolation kill, so, you know, not the end of the world.
Rosie and Busy, man. Just the 3rd round in a row. Where these are the 2 players that survived, that carry over weapons from the previous round. And this should have been a round that they came out on top of when you looked at what they had coming into it. But Furia, with, you know, they sacrifice a little bit. They give themselves a little bit of extra util. And here it is. I mean, 3 nades just popped right over the top there. And it's really smart. It gives them a huge opening in onto the site because you're not expecting that B site to be incredibly protected. Once they've taken that down, they've taken down a huge angle. They get themselves, they pick up that rifle, and from there they're able to just kind of snowball into a round win. Now Liberty, while they're still able to buy in here and they have done a little bit of chip damage, of course that econ starts to look a little bit more messy, and of course they didn't want to give over that previous round. It was a round that I'm sure they feel like they should have had in the bag.
Yes, I think it's probably fair to say that we agreed exactly the same. Firstly, going to take a pop shot in towards mid. Not going to connect, and of course take some damage in doing so. Drop down to 48. Hate will come through. Won't really cause damage they were intending. Mizzy still just holds and waits. Only a slight bit of chip damage, but information gain for Furia. Now they're pushing back over towards that B site, and this time it's not going to be the easiest entry because we see the double stacking towards short. For Liberty Female, they're going aggressive, but of course that could come back to bite them.
Worked so far for Furia. Let's see if they... Oh, there we go. Beautiful opening kill there. Can they follow it up? Yes, they can. Good stuff from Josie. That's going to give them a nicely needed advantage.
Reg is now what can they do with it? Car going to find the trade on towards Josie. Still 1 player onto a site to be able to drop, and then a Reggian. And she's just buying some time for the rotation. She's playing that so perfect. The flash will be right in her face from range. Juliana trying to step up. Reggian's still alive. Not for much longer, though, as Gabby steps up to the fray. Going to find 1 from below. Mari 1 more. And in a matter of seconds, the numbers are flipped. The T side of Furia in a 3 versus 2 bomb plant, a post-plant set up. I've spoken towards short, more or less confirms where the rotation is coming from. The Orb will 30 so much to do. Going to be able to find 1, opting for the M4A1S, but at range, taking a couple of pop shots as he drops on towards the site. Sound cues are being gained, and can't try to do what she can. That's a brilliant retake by Liberty. Mizzy and Thursday, once again, the dynamic duo, step up to the plate.
Good grief. How do they keep doing this? Look at their deaths in comparison to the rest of their team. It is insane. It's absolutely ridiculous how many rounds they've either saved or been the last 2 players alive. I mean, they really have been the clutch factor for this Liberty side, but it has to be said that doesn't bode well for when the sides swap, because this is the round where we needed Liberty to do well. I said this in the previous round, sorry, not this round, this half. And for so many of their players, particularly Reggiana, if I'm not mistaken, I believe she's the IGL for this team. So yeah, there's a lot more concentration on just making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing. But unfortunately, you know, not really being at the same, like on par with the rest of the team, it does slow them down a little bit. Nothing's going to slow down Furzy though, because an incredibly deep angle in unders, and that's going to net them the first kill of the round.
Not about start as well, but of course, when you look at what Furia brought to the fray in round number 9, not exactly the easiest of rounds to find. They've still got Glocks to work with. It's only a hero AK left for Gabby with 17 points of HP. And unfortunately, with no one else having armor, it's not even worth her really dropping it. Mori slowly going up towards the B site, but slowly to a demise. Red Jang gonna find one more. And they're making their way out towards long, and they walk straight into towards the grass and mid. You can spot one more as well, trying to stay alive. The Orc comes in for support. A flawless round for Liberty Female to make it only one round in it. We mentioned Overpass can be seat decided, and we're seeing exactly that.
I'm such a Mizzy fan at this point.
She's been
She's
brilliant.
just doing so well, honestly. Really just helping pull Liberty back from the depths. And we take a look over at Furia. I mean, their economy is pretty stuffed at this point. It's not great. You know, mixed in with the 4 AKs, there's a Galil, which is not ideal, but you look at what cash they're going to have at the end of this round. I mean, this could be the perfect round for Liberty if they can come out on top of this one to decimate Furia a little bit. And there you go. Solid start here to just push them a little bit over the edge. I'm loving this. I'm loving this slightly more aggressive play. When they played passive and allowed Furia to run into them, that's when they got overrun. Now they're taking the fight to Furia and they're winning.
And that's how you should do it. In this sort of map like Overpass, you have to take that early short control. You have to guarantee it. And of course, same can be said towards mid, because you get all the information you need for the round from there. But of course, now, the teams have made their way on towards that EA site. They've got Reggian and Josie to drop, and it's a 1-for-1. Isa finds a trade. Gabby finding one more. Now this becomes a little bit dicey. Spoke back on towards front of the site. In comes another one towards Heaven, trying to deny from Raid. Isa steps up for one of her own. Nade will come through, but won't quite make the distance. They know Isa's tucked in, but at the same time, they can't really afford to clear it. The AWP's holding, but she's not going to overextend. The bomb should. Well, they should be able to go down. Actually, it won't be. Isa is the one holding the bomb. She's trapped. It's all down to how Gabby plays this now, and for her, she's 0-2 aware and 0-2 cautious of the flank. 35 seconds to work with, and for Liberty, where they are currently standing, this is the perfect place. Missed AWP shots, as I'm asking, it will go exactly the same. Gabby comes in for support as well, and the bomb's made the cross. It was a treacherous path, but she's somehow come alive, and we'll be able to find the kill as well. What a round for Furia to come out on top of for Liberty. That was a must-win.
I mean, that was solid for her to be able to get out of that. I think that missed AWP shot really is kind of the linchpin in that round, because if Furzy hits that, they probably win it.
Yeah,
so yeah, I mean, Isa comes up so massive there to clutch that out, and she shouldn't have been able to survive, but she does, and that's the most important part. I mean, she's also been such a standout player for her team in a lot of these past games, and nice to see again, you know, stepping up and continuing to fulfill that. And Gabby, who was the other player that was still alive with her, I mean, she has been a monster on the server here.
Yeah, for sure.
We see Furia taking their very first TAC timeout, because as much as they did very, very closely win out that previous round, things have been a little too close for comfort for them. You know, when we look at how decisive Dust 2 was, I don't think that they expected Overpass to be going quite this close, which is interesting because, as you had noted earlier, I mean, this was the map that Liberty took Black Dragons to overtime on. Yep. So clearly they do have a pretty decent understanding of it. Furia know that to ensure themselves this round, or this map rather, give themselves the runaway lead on the T side, and then CT is a breeze. So you take a little bit of attack timeout, you consider what Liberty have been doing, which has been taking serious aggressive angles, and you try to figure out what is the response. And you can see, look how passively they're playing here. They're not taking any space. They're expecting that aggression to come out, but Liberty is somehow right into that. I mean, it's such a case of like, no you, round and round in circles, continuously reading into each other.
I think the really nice thing is that, of course, Liberty, they've come off fighting all cylinders. They haven't at all lost that morale that we were kind of maybe potentially a little bit scared that could be the case with such a disheartening loss in towards their own map pick of Dust 2. It's very easy for the mental to start to go, but I'm not giving up just yet. 6-4, 2-round lead for Furia, full buy both ways, but of course, both ways as well. That glass floor, ever prevalent. You know, lose this round, it puts you into a double eager situation. That this is an important one to kind of see who can close out this half. And of course, if Liberty take it, they can tie up this game, which you haven't seen at all as of yet. In towards not a bathroom, Mizzy's going to find the first. Dropping the bomb as well. Ferdy comes alive with the AWP. Mizzy will fall bomb collective. What's the decision to be made here? In towards long. A fight with the AWP comes out in favor of the AK-47. Gabby finds one more. And now the A site is open. Bomb to be planted. And for the two remaining of Liberty, Josie, Reggian, this is a top retake. A FAMAS and M4 and a long journey. A treacherous one over from that B site to try and regain that A control. And that post-spawn, it's just so passive from Furia. They're not even slightly tempted to peek.
Honestly, I think that Furzy was looking in the wrong direction, which is why she easily gets sprayed down there. I mean, she didn't fire a shot. So she must have been looking the wrong way. And now, like you said, that retake, you know, Furia fan out. They look for information. They realize there's no one pushing in, you know, towards the A site. So now they kind of put their attention back, and it's going to be Liberty forced to have to save into this next round. And it's not even the best possible save. It would be nice if they could have picked up maybe another AK, or maybe, you know, recovered that AWP. But unfortunately, not going to happen, as I do believe it got yoinked there. Yeah, Gabby did recover one of those AKs. So that's going to be handed swiftly back over to Car, who has also been exceptional. And Liberty find themselves back in a really tight spot. Particularly, obviously, in terms of cash, but also because they're now at a 3-round deficit. We have 3 rounds left in this half, and we were really expecting, or I mean, they needed to come out with a huge runaway lead here.
I mean, it's not looking good, is it? So far, not so good. So to say, Flash will come through. Dink will come out as well. Eyes are very nearly biting the bullets. USPS taking issue on a contact, then going to find one. Carcass in one of her own. The Glock going to be pulled out as well. And now this definitely changed tides. I mean, what's remaining? Then Furia and the USPS. So Dink will come through. Mari fortunate to stay alive, but comes on top just about, leaving Josie all alone in a 1 versus 4 to deny Furia, winning out the half on T side of Overpass. I mean, we already mentioned that for Liberty, they needed a really strong first half to give them an opportunity. And now this is becoming very uncomfortable. Josie rotating back into short water, but Olga won't even give her the time of day. Domes are out of the round, 8-4, 4-round lead, and Furia guarantee a lead at that second half. I mean, Sam, Furia, they've not stopped since that first map, and they're looking as good as they were then.
Yeah, I mean, Liberty have definitely started to show some signs of life, and I'm very happy for that. I think that they've shown some really good adaptations. They've had some really good ideas coming into this, but Furia have just done so well to consistently adapt to whatever changes Liberty have made, and then respond with a change of their own. They're consistently in control of the pacing. And it's pivoted them to this 4-round lead. They've got themselves a nice little bit of cash stored away in the bank because, they don't really have to buy into this one. They have to spend a little bit, obviously, having lost a player there. But for the most part, they're sitting pretty. There is no concerns here as we come into the last few rounds of this half. It's, 2 rounds, 3 rounds left. And Liberty, they're at least able to buy into this. But if they lose this round, they're going to be in dire straits again.
Yeah, well, once again, they're trying to go aggressive. Car through the smoke, just above this spot. Furzy jumping up, and that's enough for her to delete her out of the round. Not about start at all. He comes to smoke into his front door. Gabby just going to fall away. Doesn't need to overextend. Mizzy goes a little bit aggressive, but with the man advantage in favor of Fury. I mean, they don't need to even do anything aggressive. They can slow down that tempo right down to a halt and bait out a lot of that utility from the CT side. So far, so good. Numbers in their favor. Nothing needs to change. Now, a front smoke in towards bathrooms. Gabby waiting, holding, and finding another kill. Mizzy, who we said has impressed us so far, and Fuzzy, the 2 top fragments for Liberty Female. Now the first 2 to fall. Not exactly the start that we're looking for the CT side. It's not looking like the end either, as Juliana's going to drop as well. Regian nearly caught in transition. Going to be able to find one, but trying it out immediately leaves Josie on alone. 1 versus 4, once again, as you mentioned. And this time, this retake even more tough. I mean, for her, potentially, I think it might even just be a safe call. That would be the slightly smarter one, I reckon. Try and play for the last round, guarantee an M4A1S save the cost, because that glass floor's there. They've got no economy to work with.
That's assuming they allow her to save. The hunt is potentially on here. They don't want to let that one happen. But hopefully they'll be able to. I mean, you spoke about, drawing out some of the CT util, and when you said it at that point, there was like 1 flash and 1 smoke left.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, they didn't come in with a whole heck of a lot because they had to spend quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, that was just an unfortunate round for Liberty across the board. There was a lot that needed to go into that, and they didn't quite have the util needed. Now, we did actually see them win an eco round at one point, so we know that they're capable of really stepping up and doing incredible things, but we spoke a little bit at the beginning of this map about the momentum and about the headspace. And after conceding so many rounds on their CT side, you've got to start to wonder, how are these ladies feeling? We're heading into the second last round in this half. We've got a few Deagles, 1 M4. I mean, it's not ideal. Okay, sure, they'll be able to buy into the next round, but you know that the lead in the half is already confirmed for Furia. And it is better than Dust 2, but it's by no means clean.
No. Yeah, I think that's safe to say. It's not looking too good in towards Monster. Regian finds one, but it's only one. Once again, a dominant start by Furia against numbers in their favor, and now, of course, the B-side to follow suit. It's only one pillar left to hold, and that was just Julian in the penultimate round. Furia, they're going over double digits on the C-side once again, and a Molotov in towards Heaven denies that control that what we've seen previously from an AWP. Gabby holding for the rotation, holding oh so perfectly is Mizzy. All alone with a P250, a thing to be found, but that's all she's going to find. 10 rounds of Furia, a 6-round lead, heading into the final round of the half, and they've done it on T-side.
Well, yeah, we spoke about how they're going to try and create a huge buffer for themselves so that they have a breeze of a CT side, and I think they've more than accomplished that at this point. You know, Liberty, there's a chance here for them to come out on top of this round, and I honestly hope that they do. I honestly hope that they can bring this back and, you know, make this that little bit more competitive. But Furia have just been consistently denying that round after round. They've been so good, so clinical. That is a solid start for Liberty, though. But that should tell Furia that the B site might be a danger. I mean, you can already see Furzy starting to rotate across because she's probably figured Furia not likely to push that B site now. They might come over towards A. She now repositions. I wonder if she can get a second kill.
That is the question. I mean, it is making that rotation back over. I mean, as we stand for Liberty, this is the dream start they're looking for. In comes the utility. And now for Furzy and AWP, she's forced off into a slightly more passive angle and actually caught in transition. Looking for one more. Won't quite find it though, Mizzy. Just about stepping up with a slither of HP to work with, though. It's not exactly the easiest of scenarios for her. Spots the shadow, but low HP will fall to the hands of Gabby. Now, numbers more level. Bomb to be planted. A-side in their control. And the Molotov actually doesn't spread. Unfortunate for the CT side, because that could have denied that far, but this time not going to be given the case. Beauty of flashing towards Bank as well. More or less forces Liberty to just take a little bit of a step back and reassess and reevaluate where they currently stand. Eyes are holding from range in towards long. Gabby in towards short. Not tapping it. Now they will. Holding it. In fact, they're going to commit or try to. Will they be able to find it? Looking good. And it will be exactly that. 10-5 in the half, ladies and gentlemen. Furia lead on T side. Let's see how they face in the second half. We'll see you after the break.
Can't hold it back on my own. Not go down. Stand up, shine bright. 'Cause the pressure won't break me. I'll get back up on my feet. Yeah, line up, now go down. No, the pressure won't break me. I'll get back up on my feet. No, the pressure won't break me. I'll get back up on my feet.
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 10-5 at the half is where we stand now. Furia head onto the significantly more favourable CT side. I think it's safe to say, Sam, that if Furia find a CT pistol here, this might be map and series done and dusted.
It's a rough position for Liberty to be in. And I mean, we saw a fairly similar result on Dust 2, in fact. Okay, it was a little bit more decisive for Furia, but it wasn't great, all things considered. Now for Liberty, you know, we talk about how important that pistol round can be and also how 50-50 it can be. And I think it can be a little bit stressful to hang all of your hopes and dreams in this series on what is potentially a bit of a coin flip round. But Liberty have to somehow make this clean, make it decisive, and come out on top of this pistol if they want an opportunity to give themselves a little bit of a momentum boost into this next half.
Well, slower take, slower tempo. But Liberty going to pop out towards B. It looks like, and in comes the utility now. Flash will come over. Gabby will answer one of her own as well. And Carl will kickstart things brilliantly. The question is, can she find any more? In towards other barrels. Isa holding, waiting. Not quite connecting, in fact. Uncharacteristic misses. Amari comes alive. Gabby on her own, but the numbers brought level. Backside, Gabby has to come alive. Spotting out one look. The second, and she does brilliantly. 11-5. Pistol for the CT. Sam, looking dicey. We said alarm bells are ringing, and now they are very much going off. Because for Liberty Female, they're going to be now in for, a couple of rounds, but the buy's not going to be great. And the question of too little too late is starting to ring out.
I mean, this was it, right? We kind of spoke about how this was a massive, important round for Liberty to win. Without even having gotten the bomb down, they have nothing in this round. No weapons, no utility, absolutely nothing. And Furia should be able to run away with this round.
Behind. Go for a double. Olga, two of her own as well. Then she's Juliana, all alone. Block in hands. And cleaned up relatively easily. The Furia side. 12-5. It was as expected, wasn't it? I mean, there's no buy for Liberty, so you couldn't really have expected anything to come forward from that sort of round. But a 7-round lead that Furia now hold is a dicey situation where for Liberty, this could potentially be one of their last full buys, or a comfortable full buy at that. We're going to see AKs come out, a good amount of utility. Failure to get bomb plants coming down consecutively will leave them with a very limited amount of long-term economy to work with.
Yeah, it does leave a huge gap in terms of what they're going to have into this round, but we're seeing them try to take a little bit more of an aggressive stance here. It's being met quite handedly by Furia, who have almost entirely taken control of this map, though. Liberty's only real option right now is to try and go for a long play, which it seems they are going to try to do as they make a little bit of noise over towards the B site. The rest of the team slowly start moving in towards A. But with all of this utility coming out, that should be the sirens blaring for Furia. We need to rotate.
Well, they're still kind of committing over towards the double monster stack here, but Olga's going aggressive, and this is brilliant. Now, Olga can potentially spot us some information, but more importantly, a silent cue. We talk about this fight with Josie. Okay, she was Josie expected. Yes, she does. She knew all too well that was an option, and now with them being also isolated, this becomes problematic. Carl spots out two crossing over towards Long, aggressive in towards Monster. Josie takes some damage, but relays some of her own. Carl holding nice and passive, taking this aggressive fight. Will need to fall back now, and she needs to buy time for the rotations to come through. I don't think Mari and the MP9 saw the initial bit of aggression, but you, Juliana, taking a pop shot does give up the information that now the committal play he made over towards A side, and the rotation needs to come through now, hence where it is. In comes the smoke, in comes the molly. What can they do with 25 seconds left to work with? Liberty could have left this too little too late. They try and make their way on towards the side. They walk straight in towards the CT hold. Gabby good for one. Traded immediately though. Mori trying to deny the four, but from above mid, he's going to find one Reggie and one of her own. And it's all down to one. Isa on MP9 against a quad AK-47. I think this is a done affair, and it is. Josie will clean things up. 12-6. Potentially for Liberty, this could be now the catalyst to some success.
Solid round there. Great use of that util that was on site as well. We saw, Molly come out to try and move people off position, but the smoke comes through to defuse it. But obviously, that obscures quite a lot of vision as well, and Liberty do really well to take advantage of that. So now you have two smokes towards the back of the site, which cuts down a lot of vision for the CTs. They're able to move in onto the site, get that bomb down, and of course, with the superior weaponry, they're able to utilize that and converted into a round win, a much needed round win, but Furia able to buy quite a bit into this round. Will lose Carve very early on in the round, but it does get traded. What a sneaky little peek there.
It's a nice answer back there from Olga. Those numbers level. The firepower for the CT side is still arguably slightly more limited with the MP9 in play, but now things do become a little bit more dicey for Liberty because they have to make a tough decision of how they want to play it. So they default back to what worked for them prior, which was, relatively back over towards the A site and trying to make that work, or do they now have to try and force their way on towards a B site, which hasn't been too successful with, cast our minds back towards that pistol round. It's uncomfortable as we stand, and a smoke in their face with under a minute left on the clock is exactly what Furia need to just cut this tempo, and of course for Liberty, make things uncomfortable.
Slowed down pacing so much here, but trying to take a bit of map control. Olga in a beautiful spot there. Now Liberty, you spoke about uncomfortable. This is definitely discomfort.
Coming through as well, Miz gonna find one, but she falls. Bomb dropped. Less than 30 seconds to work with. MP9 swings in for a second. Amari closes out to 13th for Furia for them to regain a significant, very significant lead at that. And with 20 played, Furia are now only 3 rounds away from closing out not only their map, but the series and booking their tickets towards Dallas. And Liberty know all too well of how close Furia are to that finish line. Hence why we see them call for attack pause.
I love how you say regain a lead as if Furia ever lost it.
Oh, regain a comfortable lead. There we go.
I don't think they've been uncomfortable since like round 8. No, they've been looking incredibly good here, and this was our big concern, particularly on their CT side. The T side was already rough, knowing that we were coming on to Overpass, a map that Liberty have only really played once, and Furia haven't played it too often. But one of the things we spoke about, what happens behind the scenes, how much practice goes down where we don't get to see it in the shadows, I suppose. And Furia have clearly put in the time and the work, and they come into this looking very, very good. 3 rounds away from closing it out entirely. Liberty in this round have very little to use, and with all of that chip damage, should make things that little bit more difficult to pry open any sort of possibilities, I guess.
Not a bad start either, is it? Already Thursday falling. She's been one of the impact players for Liberty Female, and for her dropping out of the count, it's not exactly the start they were looking for. At the very least, the Hero AK is still in play. But a tough retake is safe to say to be able to find anything. Josie's going to go something towards short, making their way out towards Monster, spraying through. Full blind, Isa and Gabby one apiece. Make that a second for Gabby, and Josie all alone. She doubles down, but that's all she's going to be able to find. Furia find 14. And they're inching closer to the all-elusive 16. And, well, for Liberty, at the very least, they've done themselves one better than what they did on their map pick of Dust 2. But it's a long road, a treacherous climb to be able to push this towards Vertigo or Decider. And, that's if we get there.
Good attempt at a rush from Liberty, but I feel like having a little bit of quite a lack of control really kind of works against them there. They're going for a slightly more one-dimensional play, and it's really been these plays where they have a lot of different things going on, and they kind of keep their attention distracted across the map. That's generally where they tend to do better. When they go from a one-dimensional, okay, let's all just push through Monster, that's when they tend to kind of get mowed down a little bit. So hopefully, in this round, it's already kind of shaping up to be a little bit more interesting. They're baiting out some of that utility. Furia doing well to try and hold on to as much as they can. Liberty have lost a lot of their own util. There's very little left here to kind of mount and execute. Now, we've lost a lot of time, and as they start to push through the smoke, they don't wait for it to dissipate. They just push right through it.
And they get collected as well. Olga still just locking out Bathroom. She's going to fall back to a slightly more passive approach, but it's a beauty of an opener. As you mentioned, they didn't even wait for the smoke to dissipate. They just try peek their way through, and they pay the price for exactly that small rookie mistake, which now leaves numbers in favor of Furia. And the ability for them to just set up crossfires and just deny any A presence. And with 35 seconds left on the clock, it's not exactly where they want to be. All goes for a peek in towards Divider. Won't spot out too much. But Mizzy now dancing with the devil, going to be able to find one. Doubling back in towards Bathrooms, but she brings it at least somewhat level. But as they fall back, they walk straight towards Amari, who finds a double. There's only 2 left alive. The AWP has to come alive in this one, but I think it's safe to say that in this situation, it should be a closeout, or so I speak, as Josie finds a double. 8 seconds to work with, but it's Isa to double it down. The low HP of the AWP at first is unfortunate for her, but that's all they're going to be able to find. 15-6. Sam, map and series point. And it's the Mount Everest of mountains for Liberty females to be able to climb, to get back in towards this one, to be able to push this just to map number 3. And that's even before we can even discuss Vertigo. It's looking done.
Yeah, I mean, Liberty do so well in that round to keep it chaotic, right? I mean, there are so many points there where Furia have a player get isolated, and you start to think, oh man, they're about to go down. Liberty are going to get an advantage here. But the rest of the Furia squad do so well to cover that. You know, as soon as Mari's a little bit out of position, then someone will come around the corner and be that backup, be that trade potential, make sure that she survives despite all of the util and the shots being fired from Liberty. I mean, Furia have been so good at keeping these adaptations consistently round into round and consistently responding to Liberty. That was a big thing for Dust too. And we're seeing it again here. They just breathe so well into Liberty's strat book.
And unfortunately, in a round which means probably the most to Liberty that any round has ever meant, they've got not much of a buy to work with. And of course, with the opening kill going the way of Gabby, it's a double Mac 10, 1 Galil, 1 AK-47 to deny. Gabby gonna find 1 more, 2 more as well, as she makes it a 3K. On for the ace, it's a 2 versus 5. Josie good for one of her own as Gabby doubles back. She wants to try and push towards 29 kills to close out map number 2. The question is, can she? Bomb in her hands as well. Hunting for the H, might even be giving it as well. Carl comes in to close this one out. Ladies and gentlemen, 16-6. Furia are our first side from South America to book their tickets all the way to IM Dallas, and they do it in emphatic form. 16-5 on Dust 2, 16-6 on their map of Overpass, and it wasn't even close.